play with that though. We're talking about off camera a little bit of April 15th tax day drama, but we're here. We're good to go.
For real.
To all you up and coming producers, man, a lot of you guys get money from a lot of different ways. You might have your YouTube channel. You might be getting paid from Create. You might have publishing checks coming in. You have money coming from BeatStars, whatever. Make sure you're keeping track of everything, because tax season can be spooky for some people, or it can be great if you prepare the right way.
For real.
But man, first, everyone knows this is my guy right here. Big FernoSpazzin, coming off 100 million plus view video in Brazil. Hunxho, Let's Get It's been top 5 rap caviar. I feel like it's just stuck there. I want to say 2 straight months, something crazy. But I got to give him a big thank you. We had some craziness going on this week, some craziness going on today, a whole bunch of stuff getting rearranged. So I figured, man, you know what? Let's get the Ferno episode part 2 in. The first part 2, one of the best ones we've had so far. You know what's going on, man. The producer room, powered by producer culture, reporting live from the Red Room today. Got the big go. First part 2, FernoSpazzin. What's going on?
FernoSpazzin on this motherfucker.
Chilling, man. How you doing, Carl? I appreciate the intro.
That was a long-winded intro, but everything's good, man. Everything's good. It's crazy. I'm feeling good. It's getting warm outside again. Feel summer coming. It's always a good time. But I owe you a bunch of thank yous, man. Just always calling you, chopping up about different ideas. You were, I would say, the first episode of the producer room that really kind of like sparked it off. Ferno was the first one that made it a thing for us to start dropping consistently every single Sunday. And, you know, he gave a ton of really good gems. Everyone, make sure you watch part 1 if you haven't seen it yet, but a ton of really, really good gems as far as like working YouTube for producers, posting tight beats, etc. But even me just sitting there absorbing it too, kind of applied some of that formula to our own thing. But what do you got going on, man? What's new? I think last time your first semester of college was just starting. You were in the dorm.
Just starting, man. And now what's crazy is we're coming. I'm in the last 2 weeks now, so I kind of can look at it all from you know, hindsight.
Yeah.
Shit, bro. Right now, bro, we winning. Let's get it. Top of Rap Caviar. I'm really proud of that song, because it's one of them songs that it's for the culture, you know, like the whole city of Atlanta turned up to that one. And as somebody who like, I really appreciates the sound of Atlanta, I think that a lot of my loops, especially because I started loop making with stuff for like Keed and Got It, literally like exactly for them. You know, I feel like I owe a lot of my sounds influence to Atlanta. So to see one of my shits popping out there like organically is really cool. Like to have a club song there, and I fuck with it. It's one of my favorite songs I've produced. And then on top of that, we got that new MATUmôE single in Brazil, the Vampiro, yo. And that was like a hyped snippet, you know, and to see it out now in its full glory is great. It's really exciting. And shit, man, I'm happy it's summer too, yo. I can't wait. This summer, you know, we finna link up. We're gonna be working on music for months. Like I'm happy to have a moment to like really work on some shit.
Yeah, most definitely, man. It's been crazy. I'm even, I feel like you know, an extended member of the Let's Get It song too. And it's just so dope to be part of someone's like breaking moment, rather than just like having another song with another artist, and that artist goes up no matter what, and you're just a part of it because of that. It's like, no, it's like the Ferno sauce mixed with Hunxho. Shout out to Slider, shout out to everybody who worked on that song. But that shit is crazy, man. It's crazy.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool to watch that shit go up, you know, because Hunxho has been somebody who's definitely had the underground buzz, but you wouldn't have known about him outside Atlanta. And now with this shit, it's taking off. It's cool. Like I've watched him go from 100K monthly listeners to 2 mil now, you know, and that's definitely a hype moment.
No, it's insane. How did the song come together in the first place?
So big shout out to my boy Ran, and of course Slider too. That's my
Ran and Slider. Shout out to Ran, too, my guy, Ran.
Rand's a YouTube legend, man. Faceless, but YouTube legend. Like, absolutely, definitely was there from the beginning with the type.
Oh, wait, let me say this about Rand real quick. There was like this has happened like 4 or 5 different times in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, where people somehow know I know Ran or see that Ran follows me or something, and they're like, yo, my artist so-and-so loves Rand's beats. They have crazy chemistry. You need to link them together. They need to really work. And Rand is just faceless legend. Like nothing phases him. He's on his path and he's not moving from his path. He's so legendary.
On God. And it's exactly that. That's what got this Hunxho record started. And what's funny about it, this song was Rilo Rodriguez x Young Boy x someone else type beat, 2C type beat, yo. It was more on that dark hard shit though, and it got a lot of buzz on YouTube. So a story that I want to tell about this one that I haven't had a chance yet, and I kind of alluded to this in one of my Instagram posts, but I didn't really put an explanation. But since that beat had been popping for a while, we did a lot of sales on BeatStars licenses back in late 2020 and early 2021. And obviously, like all YouTube videos, it started slowing down a little bit. But you get a beat vid with almost 1 million views. You're still getting a traction on that for months to come. And at some point, a couple other rappers, big names like YSN Flow, Melvoni, they had both hopped on it separately on that beat. And they were both looking to close out on exclusive offers. They wanted to drop the song on it. But, me, Ran, and Slider had agreed months before on a price that we wanted to sell at. And we waited, honestly, because we weren't impressed with their offers, and the songs, they weren't really being cooperative like that. But all of a sudden, this Let's Get It song starts getting that traction. This is like July, October. And this man Hunxho is going crazy on SoundCloud. Me, Slider, and Ran all peep that. We kind of hold out. And in October, 300 reaches out. Hunxho signs that deal. 300 comes in. They swoop up. They claim that beat. They buy it. They send us a great contract. We worked it all out, which is great. And I just wanted to speak to like holding out, because none of the other deals felt right. It felt like when Melvoni and Weiss and Flo were trying to close, they were kind of half-assing it. They weren't coming with a good team. And rather than folding for their lower prices, me, Scott, and Ran were like, yo, like, we're happy as is. Like, we don't want to get finessed by some bad deal. And we just waited for a more natural thing to happen. And look, there you go. Hunxho's born in October. Couple months later in February, we get this remix, and now it's a story.
It's out of here. It's so out of here. No, but you bring up a good point. I think I've been saying this a few times as of late, but like if you're doing business or negotiating when you're at the table and you have to leave the table with a deal being done, you already have no negotiation power. Like if you're not okay with walking away and not having something done, then there you have no leverage. But it's just interesting because you guys just kind of like went with your gut, went with what felt right. You can kind of feel the vibe from like, you said some other artists teams trying to come in and kind of half-ass it, and you just decided to hold out. It's interesting. Sometimes I feel like people overcomplicate this stuff so much. It's like, bro, does it feel right? Like most of the time people's intuition is right. You know what I mean? But I did want to ask this. Was it tough? And obviously don't say anyone that was involved specifically, but was it ever tough where it was like one person's like, I don't know, guys, we have this amount of money right here that we can just do. And then the other two were like, no, or vice versa. Or was it ever like that or no?
So it was. No, it's funny you say that. It definitely was. I mean, even I would I remember like sitting there and thinking about it and being like, damn, like, right. But to speak to this, in the point of my story is that even as someone who's a businessman, I like to close deals, obviously. And, this was the first time where I said, fuck it. Like, I value my art. I really value the, like this beat. Like, I really, this one is a beat that I like. I just did. I thought it was very Ferno-esque and Ran's, I got to do it with my bro Slider. Ran killed it on the drums. I was like, this is a classic. And like I said, stuff wasn't coming together. So, like with other teams, they were approaching us half-assed, or they were wanting us to like half our initial offer price, and that just didn't feel right. I wanted something more natural to come together. We were happy with what we had with the BeatStars licenses, and the beat could still be up, and just by waiting and kind of not being pressured into anything, and it's better. I respected the art. I valued it. So I just waited for the right moment. And of course it did. It came, they approached us. 300 team approached us with a great offer. I liked the song. I wanted to see it do well. And we actually closed it out. almost unanimously. It really, when they came forward, it felt right. So it's important. We just waited for the right moment. Didn't get pressured into a bad deal. I didn't fold. I just respected like the value of the beat, and I was happy to keep it, until the right moment.
Yeah. And not for nothing, but I feel like people lose track of like you spoke to named a few other artists that actually jumped on the beat and there was stuff floating around out there. Like, bro, at that point you have all the leverage in the world because you can sit back and watch how well the song is doing and kind of make a decision off of that versus I think a lot of people do the exact opposite every single time, which is as soon as an artist jumps on one of their beats, go on defense mode and try to just press to get a producer coming out and this and that. You know what I mean?
Fantastic point, yo. I think that's exactly what happened here. And it's that rather than freak out, hey, he's using my beat. Hey, we need to get on that. I need to make money from that. We said, yo, let's see how it does. Because I mean, it starts picking up traction. They're going to want that beat. And then you just flip the tables on them. Now you have the leverage. Now they need to drop that song on your beat because it's popping, right? And either way, it's a win-win. There's no reason to freak out about that if it starts popping, like hold that a little bit. It's crazy too, because I remember there was one of the snippets was actually popped from a different artist. I'm not gonna say who, but it was lit. I was fucking with it. But like I said, they didn't approach us, properly. I kind of felt like we were getting pressured. So we said, okay, let's sit back and wait. Like, let's see what we need to do.
Most definitely. No, everyone just kind of freaks out. And just a secret for everybody also, a little secret between just me, Ferno, and you guys. If someone hops on your beat and didn't pay for it, you could always hit me up and we can claim the video and make sure you get paid. Because at that point, technically, you still own the master. They never purchased it from you. So it's your song equally as much as it's anyone else's. But no, that's
big shout out to you. Big shout out to you because, I appreciate you a lot for that because, as a producer, sometimes you can feel a little bit powerless to the big algorithms, the big system, to the people with more leverage, the artist teams, but it's a great first step. Like, know your rights. Like if they haven't cleared that, they haven't worked that, like, we have to protect the producers. We should protect what's ours.
Definitely. Got to. So yeah, anybody who's ever gotten a big song placement, whatever, you never got paid for it, they never bought the beat, whatever, DM me, hit me up. We'll work to get you right for sure. But yeah, man, let me ask you this too, kind of in conclusion, as far as the song goes, when they approached you to officially close out the business, you signed a 300, whatever, 300 approaches you at that point, right? Does anybody say anything about the remix at the time they were purchasing the beat, or was that just kind of like an extra surprise at the end?
So this one was definitely an extra surprise at the end. When I almost, in a sense, expected it, but also not really. Definitely caught me by surprise. But given the terms of the contract, looking back at it, it's 100% obvious they were setting themselves up for something a bigger project. And now going forward, I'm going to be more expecting things like that. When labels come in, sign the poppin' guy, like push it more, like you can expect big things. Like they have good ideas, Yeah.
No, most definitely. That's usually like if a song's moving really well on its own. And also everybody, you can like click in YouTube and see license by and see who distributed the song. So you can see if it's a major label or not. You can see if it's DistroKid. You can see if it's TuneCore. You can see whatever it is. And then, when that artist gets signed, if it's moving by itself a lot, typically, the first thing just with the song in general is they're going to give it a big push, the song a big push as far as marketing dollars goes, getting it on these Instagram pages, giving it a playlist push, rap caviars, etc., whatever else, other ones they can land, maybe give them some physical marketing, some looks on like billboards or things like that. But that remix is definitely the one. And, more oftentimes than not, the working formula seems to be whatever city that artist's from, that song's popping, get someone else that's super going up in that city, super established in that city. And that's how you end up with Savage on the remix going crazy.
It's just a great story, man. From the YouTube shit right into a popping TikTok buzz to a remix. It's a cool story. It's definitely this song originally came out over like 16 months ago. So it's a process, but like never let shit go.
Yeah, you can never let it go. we obviously spoke last time about how you have such like a international buzz, international fan base, things going crazy overseas, especially in Brazil. Like, speak to how that just continues to evolve and grow. And also, like, you know, we talked about this last time. Like I said, everyone check out part 1 if you haven't seen it yet, but you continue to just incorporate it as something you do versus I think other people, they kind of ignore it when they have stuff going on overseas because they can't like physically see it or hear it outside. But like, just speak to that a little bit more, how you keep in court, like you're just killing it over there. You gotta be what? If they had that Billboard top 10 producers chart,
Yeah, oh
US,
God, I
Canada,
wish they had
Brazil,
that.
just Ferno.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I appreciate it, one. And I think that since I've been so used to kind of just making my buzz totally off social media, you know, going forward, I started this stuff when I was like 16, bro. You know, like I'm really young. So as I get older now, as I grow up, I'm 19, 20, you know, like now I can do more of the exploring stuff. But it's, you know, typically for the duration of my entire career and me being involved in music, it's been me generating buzz off social media, just in off the phone. So it wasn't anything too different for me when I saw this stuff going in Brazil. You know, this kind of started over a year, probably January 2021, but I just quickly identified the scene, learned so much about it. You know, there's a popping trap scene in Brazil. It's great. It's great music. Like soon,
Music is
soon,
fire.
soon in new projects, you know, I'm going to see MATUê is playing some stuff, not with me, but by himself, you know, a little crossover into the US with Rich the Kid. So we're going to see worlds colliding a lot. But for real, I just appreciate it. You know, I do feel a little bit blessed because with the rappers I work with, 30 Prom, it's MATUê, Teto, and Will, and these guys are awesome. Like they're really running the trap scene of Brazil. They're at the forefront. You know, they're pushing a new sound. So I feel really lucky that they were liking my beats, and I tapped in with them. I didn't let the opportunity pass me by, even though we don't speak the same language. We all speak music, so I got their emails. We locked in. You know, I started DMing them, talking to them over the course of last year. Now, you know, next thing you know, like we're locked in for real on a music level. We're working on ways to link up in person now that like really COVID isn't much of an issue and they've been going out and touring and stuff. And I just feel lucky and blessed to have the opportunity to push that sound with them because, you know, in different scenes of music, the sound's at a different place, but with where they're at right now, I was able to push this new sound, like really with them. And I'm excited for what we're about to do next. But, you know, like we're seeing it pay off now. Vampito's going crazy. #1 still in Brazil. It's like 12 days #1 so far. It's lit. Shit, man, it's blessed. I can't wait to keep working with them. You know that.
No, most definitely. Yeah, it's going crazy, man. You and Pala's got one that's got, I don't even know, it just hit some crazy number, but shout out to Pala's, man.
Yo, me and Palace were talking about doing because MATUê really has liked the sound of his last 3 songs are me and Palace, literally. And we're really trying to make it together this summer, a little like set, you know, try to link all of us together for the first time, you know, just kind of get us together in person, because so far it's been great just kind of connecting as much as we can through the phone.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, it's been crazy, man. I mean, just watching kind of like how everything's evolved since the first one. I feel like a lot of those things are getting better. A lot of the issues we spoke on still kind of continue to evolve. I mean, you know,
it's interesting, you know, something that has to be considered is that when you're working internationally, and that is, you know, and I'm not going to speak just for Brazil on this, but some of the stuff I've learned about being, you know, working in a different country is the royalty rates are different. Like for example, Brazil actually uses Deezer a lot. It's a streaming platform that really isn't that popular here. So, you know, I have to account to make sure I get my money off there. Usually though, with the distributors, they collect it all and they'll show you, which is cool. But I've noticed that Deezer is a huge streaming platform there. With the YouTube stuff, you know, you and I have been able to stay on top of unlicensed stuff. You know, a lot of that stuff comes out. Like now that I've generated a buzz, people go to me when they're trying to recreate the sounds of MATUê and Teto. And, you know, you and I have been able, I'm glad, to just protect my loops when they don't get, when people don't license them and stuff, which has been great. So staying on top of that's important. A lot, it's hard to navigate the culture when you don't speak the language, but at least, this has been, we've done what we can to the best of our abilities, so that's good. Going forward now, I'm trying to be even more involved in this Brazil scene, because I really don't think there's a limit to what I can do. I think we're trying to gear up. Me and my team are trying to gear up right now for some of my own releases with the Brazilian artists, which is going to be super exciting. That's going to be really exciting because, that way I really want to stamp myself into the culture. Like, I really appreciate it. I've been working. I want to push this sound more and work with artists that are, co-signed, related to the thing, so just in that world too, and kind of keep pushing the sound, but cementing my name there,
Most definitely. I want to go back to kind of the first point you made there, which is the royalty rates and how they're different, etc. It's so funny because I was just having a conversation with someone this morning, before me and you had our conversation. There's been some craziness going on today, but I was having a conversation with someone this morning, and it was just funny because the music industry is great. It's small. It feels like high school sometimes, where everyone knows everyone and people gossip and things get around quickly. But it's also great because, there are a lot of weirdos, etc. But when you kind of like look through the people, you can meet some of like the best people that end up being like so great. But it's interesting because in any other industry, business, computer software, somebody selling this, accounting, whatever it might be, people are so rewarded for being able to think rationally and use logic, etc. And it's just so interesting because in the music industry, I feel like nobody uses logic when they think about anything. And I was actually going to tweet it this morning, like something about the music industry, like nobody ever wants to hear somebody using logic, but then I thought it would get received wrong because they would think I'm talking about like making beats on logic, etc. But you spoke to the royalty rates, and it's just interesting because sometimes people hit me up and they're like, this song has 5 million views. Why did I only make this amount of money when this song I made this amount of money? And I'm like, bro, this song is overseas. And people might just say to me like, well, 1 million views equals this amount of money, which first of all, YouTube doesn't work that way. It's not an input for an output. But second of all, you got to think about this, the royalty rates being different, Spotify. Bro, the price that you pay, where does money get made from? It's from the people, subscribers purchasing the service, and then sometimes more when people have like premium subscriptions, whatever. But the people who buy it, that's where the money comes from. The price for Spotify in the US per month is definitely different than what somebody in Chile pays per month. You know what I mean? So whatever the percent difference is, factor that in when you think about what the output would be for this amount of thing. And I tell people that, and they just do not want to hear it. It makes no sense. It's like, bro, this is just complete ratios and math. Like there's not that much to it, but it's just interesting because it's so funny. Nobody wants to think or hear logic or somebody speaking rationally. They just want it to be this way that they have convinced themselves in their mind.
Understanding that how Spotify, takes the profits and then splits it amongst the total stream count. That's important. Yeah, and also it's a misconception. This one I understand though, because I'm around this every day. People that aren't involved in music look at those read those headlines and are like, oh, people get paid $3 per 1,000 streams, and it's like that changes. It changes on day to day. It changes, and then it's going to be different on every single streaming service too. So it's kind of just nothing's ever a guarantee.
Yeah. I do just want to say anybody can like look up right now, like how much X amount of streams makes per platform. Those are estimates. Like they're trying to give you estimates based on the common averages. There are plenty of times where somebody pays for all these streams and that makes no money, or they pay for these views and that makes no money. So there's a lot of times where that happens as well.
A lot of streams don't get counted. Yes, some stuff. Yeah,
times things don't get counted. Yeah, there's a ton of different stuff, but yeah, man. Other than that, I mean, how do you kind of think everything's going as far as I feel like the sample loop maker world continues to get more and more flooded? Like I don't know. What are you thinking? Like, it's interesting, bro. Type loops are a thing now on YouTube. Type loops.
No way.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen them yet. Yeah, type loops are popping up on YouTube.
Damn. I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, no. The loop make it like, yeah, I mean, every day it gets more saturated, but also the key to success is always gonna be about the way you approach you know, music, right? I think. Because if you're coming in here and you make loops for the placements, you know, how for the culture are you? Like, how long are you going to last? Like, how good will your music last? Are you just creating what's on the wave right now, or are you getting good at music, learning about the history of it and trying and being experimental, you know? Something, you know, I will say this about myself. When I first got into music, I was chasing specific placements, but it was a great introduction to me for loop making and for learning the software and for all this. But I still did a good job about branding myself as Ferno and making a name for myself. But you know, the goal for me, and like I said, this is cool. You know, this is going to be where I've stayed the same since our last interview, is that continuing. Like 6 months later after this, I've gotten a lot better at live instruments. Like my samples have become deeper. I have stuff with switch ups. Like I have loops that are so out there that you would just want to enjoy them, listening to them in the studio and nothing else. Just, you know, just experimental pieces. But in all this, you know, learning all this stuff that, you know, I've been doing, like, then you start making great pieces, unique loops, like stuff that is really going to catch. Like I have some loops right now that I'm really excited about just from the past couple months, stuff that's so unique. I'm scared to give them out because I want to save them, you know. But speaking to like the sample game and loop making as is, you know, the guys that are winning right now are the ones that aren't afraid to experiment. They're bringing back vintage sounds. They're bringing the synthesizers back. We were bringing guitar pedals back. Even, you know, they're experimenting. Like collaboration is important too. Like all this sort of stuff.
So interesting. I'll say this too, like, a really good point that you just made. Obviously, it's two different worlds within the same space, but there's a lot of parallels. Like I remember, you know, there was a point in time when I was just trying to like you said, like businessmen, we want to close deals, this and that. And I was reaching out to different producers like, hey, are you collecting on this? Let's sign you up to this, or let's start collecting your royalties on this or that or that or that or whatever. And I remember one day everything changed for me. And I remember I knew it inside, but I never like verbally spoke it until I was having this long conversation with Link Halfway one day of Split Mind. Salute to Half. And salute to Split Mind too. They're really doing their thing.
Talented people.
Yeah, super good people. And I told him one day, and I always knew that it was happening, but I never knew it until I said it. I said, bro, one day everything changed for me when I said, if I'm talking to this producer about how royalties work and this and that and how you collect them, etc. When I shifted my thinking from I want to try to sign you up to me and you work together to collect it, when instead of that becoming the goal, that became, you know, plan B. And what plan A really was I just want at the end of this phone call for you to understand how it works. Whether we end up working or not together is chapter 2. That's secondary. But as long as you know, then I go to bed and I feel like I did my job. And as soon as that happened, boom, everybody like wanted to start working. DMs flooded, inbound traffic. Like it was so interesting. But
so much more natural. Yeah, for real.
With you with the loops, it's kind of the same, like trying to chase this and do it in such a way where it does that versus like, I mean, you can just sit there and listen to a loop and be like, damn, this is fire. And I think that that's partially why so many overseas loop makers win too, because it's just different.
Yeah, and it's a lot more like it's funny that definitely I love that story because it's definitely the same with loop making and about, you know, being we're not working for that immediate goal, kind of building, you know, like building a little bit. And that's why I think so some of the most fire sample makers right now, most of the people haven't heard yet, because right now they're working like they're working with each other, like they're experimenting, building up huge stashes, like you know, not being afraid that it's not for the placement. Sometimes there's more fun and enjoyment of working together, and then stuff just naturally happens. When you make beautiful music, people are going to like it. So if you send it to one person and it's really good and it's special, like, do you want to be the guy that makes 10 low Dirk sounding piano loops, or are you gonna make 10 of the craziest samples ever that like will make someone remember that shit? Like, yo, like who's that guy that had that crazy sounding stuff rather than, yo, you can't remember the last Lil Baby or Lil Durk type piano loop you heard, you know, like for real. It's the truth. I see a lot of guys were getting so creative. We're recording their voice and, you know, layering, like we saw the wave of children's choirs, you know, but stuff like that. There's going to be a lot more waves like that when people, as loop makers start getting more and more creative, you know?
Most definitely. And I want to say this too, first, I think it's important to say this. A lot of people seem to have a hard time understanding that when you want a placement with one of these super big producers or one of these super big artists, it's tough because a lot of artists have their own production companies and they sign their own producers to said production company. And that's why, you know, name the biggest rappers out right now, you're going to see the same few producers on them every single time. And those are the producers on every single track. But the way to get in is to use loops and be able to place loops with them. And that's how you get in, because it's tough to get that direct access because they're only really taking stuff directly from the people who are directly signed to them in their production company. Now, secondly, I've been in a lot of sessions with a lot of these producers who are the real placement getters signed to the artist that everyone wants the placements with. And it's funny because they don't want people to know about the loop makers that they're using, not because they want to take all the credit, which in some cases I'm sure they do.
It's not that. Yeah,
it's not that. It's because they don't want all you guys to make the sound the same. And it just goes back to like the original thing of like, it's so not okay. It's not just okay. It's perfect to be different. Like it's the same thing. Like some of those watered down sounds are just, you know, crazy. You know what I mean? And you want to stick out and be unique. And that's how you end up going,
you know, it's
30 million times platinum in Brazil. Like
it's definitely something that's easier said than done. Like, you know, I get up here and talk about all this, but in reality, every day for me is making sure that I'm trying something different because of course, you know, you don't just get up and make weird sounding stuff, but every day I try and learn something new. You know, I've been buying synthesizers, I've been buying guitar pedals, and I don't really talk about it a lot, but combining that with a little bit of the theory I've been studying over the last 6 months, and I'm just seeing a lot of new sounds. It's exciting. Like that, this is the stuff that keeps me inspired now. You know, when I first got into this, it was I needed to prove something. I wanted to get a placement. I wanted to get this, but I very quickly realized that I'm someone who loves the music and I want to be here for a long time. And to do that, I got to start building a foundation. It's going to take years. Who knows how long it's going to take? But you know, along the way, all these beautiful, awesome, amazing placements, like people I've been meeting, my time in music industry, like shit. Like I just feel like this approach is a lot healthier and has helped me actually be happy. You know?
Yeah, most definitely. Nah, man, some great advice there for sure. What it's probably hard to detach sometimes, but just as Ferno, the fan of music, like what's some of the stuff you've been listening to lately that you're excited about? I'm gonna actually pull up my stuff to see what I got going on.
Music wise?
Yeah, just new releases. Like, what have you been listening to?
Yeah, so what's really funny about me is I'm a huge Yeet guy, like, you know, like most people are, but obviously Yeet's pretty big now. So I think I found some underground guys that I'm gonna gatekeep them, but I think they're getting crazier than Yeet. But on some more mainstream stuff, you know, I've been fucking with Hot Boy a little bit for my street stuff. Yeah, I'm a little late. He dropped a tape at the end of last year that I'm just catching up to now, and it's definitely fresh, you know, Florida rap. I fuck with it, you know, it's where I'm from. New Baby stuff been on repeat, you know. I can't wait for him to drop that tape, you know. That's gonna be crazy.
Right on. Fire.
Yeah, for real. I love the Billie Eilish, yo. Shout out Hayes and Kai, yo. The Billie that I mean, what am I saying? Ellie Goulding, yo. That goes crazy. Ellie Goulding sample, the other one.
The pound cake, yeah, that shit is crazy. Shout out to Hayes and Kai, man. Kai going crazy. We gotta do the Kai interview. That's somebody I gotta do for sure. Bro, I hit up Kai in summer 2018. He had like 40 followers. I hit him up because he had a Rilo song that I loved called Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah.
Bro, watching Kai's progression has been insane, bro. Insane. Oh, yeah. Bro, that's why I never want to hear shit about anybody who constantly uses the excuse of, I need to be in the rooms to make this song. I need to be put in the room. Because Kai was a high school student in Hawaii, bro. And he figured it out, man. He figured it out. And bro, Kai, we finally locked in and we're doing some things together a couple weeks ago. But bro, Kai is somebody who we just tapped in that early on. And I've been watching from the outside looking in for the past 3-4 years. And he just levels up every time and amazes me again every single time. So salute to Kai, man. Real go.
It's dedication, man. It speaks dedication, you know, like not giving up, like just keep going. When you know you got it, you stay locked in, it works out.
Yeah. Let me see what I've been on lately. What did you think of the Jack Harlow Glamorous First Class song?
Oh, I mean, I respect it for its hit. It's a hit song. Like I respect it. My mom knew it. Like my mom got in the car and listened it the day after it came out. It's like, you know, she knows the Fergie song. She fucks with the new it. I respect it. It's great. It's not my thing. It's not what I listen to. It's not what I would listen to personally, but I definitely respect it.
Definitely.
I mean, it had what? It had a 10 mil day, you know, it's 10 mil stream Spotify debut on day one. That's crazy. It's nuts.
What have I been on, man? I love that Rob 49 Lil Baby.
Vulture Island.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah, that's hard.
The new Youngsta's been coming with some heat. Shout out to my man Youngsta.
Hey, shout out that Carl Legret song. That goes crazy.
Oh yeah, my man Grease, Wayne 616 dropped his project. He's got anybody who's a fan of Michigan rap. He's got YSR Grams on there, Rio de Young OG, Free Rio, Louis Ray, Y&J, Carl Legret, track 3. It's just going crazy. Last one's Left Project, 42 Duggan, ESTG is fire.
Oh, yeah, that shit goes crazy. I got a couple from
got a bunch of producers that I work with on there. Salute to all of them. Big Top Spot, Cam, Forever Roland, Flex, Time As, all my other guys on there. Salute to everybody. And then what else was I gonna say? I like the Fabio project a lot. I love those like classic songs being remade and into samples for these drill songs. I know that there's mixed reviews on there. If it's not for you, you don't have to think the way I do, but I definitely like it a lot. And then a cool day for producers, man. Today, Tay Keith dropped the song with Gunna and Baby on it, and then Southside also dropped the song with Travis Scott and Future on it. And you know, I think both the songs are fire. I don't want to get into like comparing them or whatever. They're both fire.
They both fire. Yeah.
The songs are for you or not is kind of beside the point, but I think it's just dope it shows like how far you can really take it as a producer. You know what I mean? They both got.
I think it should be normalized for producers to put out their own releases as much as they can. You know, as much to the artist's discretion as they can.
And that's why I'm super excited about you even talking about doing it with some of the artists from Brazil that you're.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for me to get in the culture, you know, get to release some of the stuff that I think is heat, you know, showcase more of my music, and just it's a win for everything, you know.
And not for nothing, I don't know. I feel like most people probably do know this, but if you don't, when you drop a song as the main artist, so it's your master side money, that outweighs the publishing by a huge multiple. So remember that, everybody. You might make the same amount if it's your song off 100,000 streams that you would if it wasn't your song off 1 million streams in publishing. So everybody remember that. I guess in conclusion, let me ask you something, because you're someone who studies the music, like, you know, respects it, does your thing on a you know, scholarly level as well as making it. What do you think? But you're also somebody who is a really big fan of people getting creative. What do you think of, you know, we spoke to the Ellie Goulding, and you know, there's a bunch of different samples on that Fabio song, Drake Pound Cake being sampled on that Baby song. Do you think it ruins sampling, or do you think it's great? I personally love it, but I've been seeing people tweet like, this is ruining it, like all this New York drill stuff where people are, you know, flipping things or whatever. I love it, but what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think sampling will never be a bad thing. It won't. You know, like there's no way I could put it that would make it seem like a bad thing. Like, yeah, like maybe the current trend of the drill hip hop is using those samples, but I mean, it'll go and it'll come back, honestly. But sampling is it's ingrained in music. You know, it's those are definitely tweets by non-music people, because almost everything we make on, you know, is inspired by something else. Like seriously, like every drum sound, every preset I have, and it's beautiful. That's what you build new music off. Like, you know, we're all using the same chord progressions anyway. So
Right.
but yeah, shout out to sampling. You know, I wish I made beats with classic samples and all sorts of like not loops, like, you know, from complete songs more. But you know, as somebody that's primarily a loop maker right now, I'm trying to get. I don't feel like I'm ready to do that. I feel like I still have so much more to get better at, and I'm sure as time goes on, I'll get better at already incorporating, you know, samples into my workflow.
Most definitely. But hell yeah, bro. We appreciate it again. Like I said, so much good information, so many experiences where, you know, people watching can pull how you maneuvered from this for that or whatever. But super excited, blessed. FernoSpazzin, the GOAT, the producer room, powered by producer culture. Make sure everyone likes, comment, subscribe, comment who you want to see next. I'm definitely hitting up Kai. We definitely got to do Kai. But yeah, man, drop a comment for who you want to see next, and super appreciative for you, man. Any last minute things you're working on that you want to share with everybody?
For sure. First, big shout out to you, Carl. Appreciate you, man. It's crazy. You the GOAT, man. And everyone just stay tuned, man. I'm working on my collective Spaz Boys. We're working on a lot of cool shit. I'm gonna announce it soon, but we're working on it.
Spazzin boys, man. I'm a Spazzin boy. We're getting ready.
Hell yeah.
We're getting ready.
Hell yeah.
But all right, everybody, like, comment, subscribe, comment who you want to see next. Let's get it.
Let's get it.